Just up to part 2 of Schindler's List. A little fishy swimming. Love my tank. That other one. I'm going to use it as a little breeding tank. Put some new species in and or whatever. And then I want to get a big square one for outside, like a bigger one. Probably, I reckon twice as high and twice as wide as that one. Well, probably twice as high. And then the same width and length. So I think that one is 500 high. So we're gonna meter by meter by meter by meter would do. Yeah. I want the fish when they get in there and get a bit bigger to have a bigger tank to look forward to. So I'll sort of go from the little one to the bigger one. And I'll have a sort of an outside tank, and I've already got the filter that come with this was kind of a big one that sort of does like a waterfall coming back in. So I thought that'd be too noisy, and I wanted to put the lid on. So I put the medium-sized filter in that one, and then I'll use that other one outside. And I've also got a temperature thermometer, which is a heater, so I'm going to put that on the one outside too in the winter. So I don't think they need it in there. Like, I've got the heater on in here. It's quite warm, and that tank should be around 22 degrees, I reckon. So, like, I set the temperature up there to 22. It's quite warm. So the water should be about that temperature, really. The fish are fine. They look really happy. They're swimming in big schools at the moment together, which is really cute. And the bigger ones, the bigger ones sort of watching on, and the little guppies are multiplying in there. There's lots more guppies. So it's funny how the females are the bigger grey guppies, and the little ones are the blue attractive ones. You know, are the males. The little orange, red and I think they're red and blue. Little, they look a bit like an earwig. The tail, you know. They're a lot smaller, the males, so it makes sense, I suppose. The eggs are a lot bigger. So anyway, I was just going to comment on the whole thing I was saying about, you know, how it was Spartan army once upon a time. It sort of was created from this Hydra that was also like the foundations of the body of Christ, or God's physical body, you know. So I ended up just myself a demigod, but I'm still attached to all that sort of Spartan army that's out in the world doing all these things now, as you know. So you might wonder though how I can't see their perspective, or see, you know, I spoke about how one day I might be all these different people at once, and I'll be able to, you know, see through their eyes and have multiple camera angles from different people's perspectives, and be able to see omnipotently from above, like sweeping shots, and watch myself flying around like Superman, and do all these cool sort of movie-like things. And well, there's a good reason I can't at the moment, which I can when I sit and just close my eyes. I'm there, like I'm wherever those people are, in heaven or wherever. And you know, I could almost teleport my thoughts there and see through their eyes in a way, but I'm still here because I'm still living my life as Evan. You know, I haven't quite moved on to that point where I'm actually purely the superpower. You know, when I transform, I am actually that superpower. I can see from everyone's eyes. I can do all those things. That's the connection that has developed. Like, my consciousness is in this life has been the thing that's developed to the point where I know I'm awake, and I know I exist. And it's like there's no refuting that. I can't actually go back to death, I don't think. After living the life I've lived, I can't actually just accept death. I have to confront it and challenge it and find new ways to exist. And I think that's why we've had the life we've had. I've come to peace with the idea I wasn't meant to marry my soulmate, because I think we're meant to meet in heaven or on the way to heaven. So when we're finished with this life, we might meet up and go off to heaven together, or just meet each other in heaven. I don't think you're meant to actually marry in this life. Otherwise, you have to die and come back a twin. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to die and become back a twin. So I want to meet in heaven. So So I'm at peace with Tams, and I hope she's at peace if she reads my posts, and I hope she's enjoying her married life with her kids. And I'd like a married life with kids too, and just enjoy some family life and sort of wrap up this life in a happy sort of way, like a really joyous ending. That's sort of not an ending; it's almost just a transition to the next stage. When perhaps I come back sort of as Christ or Jesus even on earth, as an accepted soul, not so much someone condemned, but someone embraced, and the world can feel peace through that experience. Or whether it's a Superman or something else, I think people are expecting Jesus. So I suppose it's a possibility. I mean, I don't know exactly the future day to day. I imagine it, and sometimes the visions I've had as a child come true, and I'm actually living it now. It's stuff I've imagined 30 years ago. And I think, wow, look at that, it's happened. It's exactly how I imagined it, and it's almost like a foretelling, but in a way I'm kind of writing it, and I chose to write good thoughts and good feelings and be kind to each other and loving, and even though I'm not married, I'm still platonically in love with everyone, it's not romantic, it's just friendship, I feel I can be friends with anyone who's accepting of me, so... And so yeah, that whole movie experience I talk about, becoming Superman and being multiple superheroes at once, it's not about violence for me. It's about just exhibiting my talents, in a super way. I might form my own rock band or something, the superheroes or something, and be able to see throughout all my different eyes. And really, anyone can do this. And I hope it doesn't weird you out. Close one eye for a minute and just stare. Right, then open the other one. You've got two different perspectives in your head in the one person. So it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing as having more than one eye out there. And just imagine your person is bigger. You can close your eye out there and then open it, and then close these ones and open them somewhere else. It's like independently looking through your eyes. They're two different shots, but you can blend them together. It's it's an incredible gift, having that duality in your eyesight to create 3 dimensions. Imagine having that 4th dimensional eyesight where you can see from above and see your own body flying around or walking. That 4th dimension would just blow me away. The 5th dimension, each person's probably another dimension until you're actually almost like a crystalline sort of force of just a prism of all sorts of colours. And I just can't imagine what other possibilities that opens up to consciousness and sight and sound and senses, and what other senses you can develop. And it's not something to be feared, but something to be shared and embraced. And I'm happy to share it with anyone who wants to marry that superpower within me. It's just a case of making me happy. Once I know you can make me happy, you're not going to threaten my life, well, I will accept you. So it doesn't have to be marriage. The superpower doesn't have to be like all sexual and close and loving and having kids. It can just be a great friend or whatever you want that relationship to be. So I might see you once in a while. I might see you every day. I might cuddle up with you in bed. I might just play car races with you or something. Do something you like doing. Anyway, I've said it a million times. I don't know why no one really takes the opportunity, but just about making someone happy and knowing you can make me happy, and then in turn I'll make you happy. And that's life. You want life to be a happy experience. So it's not about rules so much. I mean, it's just bond of trust. Is you know what's good for yourself. The rules are only there to keep you safe and keep you alive. So that's all the rules are about, the law. It's not about condemning or punishing. It's about just keeping people safe and happy and living a long life, without being harmed. That's why the superpower is so clever. It's very good at protecting you and keeping you safe. And so yeah, anyway, it's still there on offer. It's just something that happens. It's not something I'm going to magically do with my fingers. Boom, you're superpowered. It'll just happen from being in love, being embraced in love, whatever depth of love that degree is with me and the person who wants to do that. So with a true love, it's probably all the way. With friends, it's probably just hanging out, having some drinks, watching a movie, or But yeah, that's how I see it. That development into that superpower is a greater experience than being a human being. The same as being a god is a great experience of being a human. Then becoming a Superman is the greater experience of being a god. So it's one step towards something else. And then I haven't even thought much beyond that because we're not up to that yet. But there's probably things beyond that as well. Once we get to that superpower, we find the not limitations, but the extent of what that superpower can do. Maybe that's it. Or maybe there's something else beyond that as well. So anyway, better get back to my movie. I'm up to part 2. So peace out, Superman.